feel like a professor up here. I don't know. It's a very attentive class, I see. Yeah. Well, it's good to be back at Ohio State. We appreciate them hosting this. When I first became governor, one of the things, of course, you find out pretty quickly is that one of the things that you do is issue pardons. And I want to introduce two people who are directly involved in doing this, Matt Donahue and Sarah Ackman. Matt's back there. Sarah is somewhere back there as well. All right, Sarah. Sarah's hiding. And one day I said to them, you know, we keep getting these applications from people in prison, and candidly, there's no way in hell we're going to give them a pardon. I mean, there are people who are in there for rape and murder and other things. And I said, just, you know, and they've had a lot of time on their hands, and they can, you know, send a lot of paperwork in. But I said, it just, you know, strikes me that there's probably a lot of people out there who we would give a pardon to if they only would apply. And we knew about that, and they were able to go through the process. And the process for going through to getting a pardon is not exactly an easy process. And so we started talking about this and trying to figure out, you know, exactly what we could do. And so we came up with what we call this Expedited Pardon Program, and that is what we are celebrating today. Back in December of 2019, I was here in this very room launching the Ohio Governor's Expedited Pardon Project, which we created to give citizens who were long ago convicted of certain crimes a second chance for better opportunities in our country and in our state. 4 years later, we are here to discuss this program again and to observe a milestone. This past week, we passed 100 individuals who had been granted pardons under this specific program. Sarah tells me that the total number is, I think, over 150, but just in this program alone, it is now 108 as of today. I approved the last ones this weekend and told Sarah, and then she notified some of you, I guess, in the last 24 to 48 hours. 108 people. They've turned their lives around by working hard, giving back to the community, abiding by the law. As I just had the opportunity to meet with some of them, some of you who are here, and one of the things that I said is people would thank me. I said, well, you earned it. And I truly mean that. This is something that every individual who we've given a pardon to under this program has earned it by their hard work and what they have done and what they have proven that they can do, and they're giving back to the community. So let me ask all of those who are here today who have been granted a pardon to stand up, and we'll give you an applause. Thank you. I think you all have a cheering section back there, I think. Yeah, that is great. Really, this has been a remarkable program to be involved with. It's taken a lot of people. For coming here, as I said, I had the pleasure of talking with some of the individuals who have received their pardons. Some have described it to me or to Sarah it's like lifting a cloud that's been hovering over them for a long, long time, for some of them for decades. Many said they would likely never have applied if it had not been for this expedited pardon program. Everybody's got a story. Everybody's got a story, and One of the things that we do in this process is Sarah will send me periodically a number of those individuals who have been approved by the parole board, and then will tell me their story. And these stories, frankly, are very, very inspiring. Not only what they've been convicted of, but then what they have done with their life after that. The creation of this program opened a pathway for those who qualify to bypass the backlog that sometimes exists in our system and some of the red tape and jump to the front of the line for consideration. We formed this partnership not just with my office, but with the Department of Rehabilitation and Corrections. Annette, you want to stand up? We'll recognize you. She's helped us out on this program. And, of course, our law schools, Ohio State, University of Akron, University of Dayton, University of Cincinnati, Cleveland State, all of them have been involved, and I had the opportunity to talk to some of those individuals today. The program offers free one-on-one support from the partnering universities to help those accepted into the program with the application process. Bottom line is we wanted to make pardons more easy, more accessible for those individuals who truly, truly deserve them. The truth is, as we all know, that criminal convictions, felony convictions can close doors for people. They can close opportunities. And one of the things that we have talked about in our administration as one of my goals, maybe the overriding goal, is for every Ohioan to have the ability to live up to their God-given potential. I usually talk about that in regard to children, but it's equally true for adults. And there are hurdles out there that stop people from living up to their full potential. And one of the hurdles, of course, is a felony conviction in the state. So we hope that by today's celebration, I'll call it a celebration because it is, and with the news media that is here, we will have the opportunity to get this message out to more people so they will apply. There are hundreds, probably thousands of people out there who are currently in the position you were in, which is they had a conviction. A number of years ago, they've lived great lives, they've given back to the community, but they really don't know that this system, this program exists. So what we hope to accomplish by today is to getting that message out to more people. We believe for those individuals who have changed their lives, have moved forward, the mistakes that they made years ago should not define who they are and should not define the story of their lives. Those individuals deserve the opportunity, as I said, to live up to their God-given potential. Now, let me introduce Carla Thomas. Carla, more than 20 years ago, was convicted of charges involving attempted robbery, misuse of a credit card in Summit County, convictions that led to many employment roadblocks in the years that were to follow. Carla, however, worked to live a good life and to move forward. In 2022, she received a pardon through the Expedited Pardon Project, and we're now going to ask Carla to come forward and tell her story. Carla, come on up. Get that out of the way.
Thank you, Governor. So I had to ponder a long time. What would I say? Who am I? 1999, 2000, oh, I was a fighter. That was me. Every kick and turn, I was fighting. I'm a project kid. Started fighting very young. Growing up, I'm in college. Still fighting. This is where it landed me now. 2000 in the mall with a friend. Fighting. You fight the security cop. I'm young, in my mind, it's just the security guard mall. I'll be okay. I thought I would be okay until I wasn't okay. Go to court. God rest her soul, Brenda Unruh. Ooh-wee. She gave me a lashing. She told my attorney, let me speak to her in the back. I got a lashing. You guys, I was in college. I don't have the story of, oh my gosh, I had this horrible life. I was just doing so bad. No, I was in college. I had 2 jobs. I was working. To me, it was just a fight. She told me that I was young enough to right my wrongs. I was 20. I was young enough to right my wrongs until I wasn't. Mind you, I'm still in college. I don't let it stop me, though. I graduate, get a bachelor's degree. My undergrad, sports medicine, athletic training, University of Akron. I can't take the athletic training test. I have a felony. Oh, go to grad school. It's going to be okay. I go to grad school. I have a Master of Science in Education, Sport Management. Looking for jobs. Ooh, not getting it in my field. So what do? Pull yourself up by your bootstraps. I keep going. I get a job into the hospital. I work my way through. I'm working at SUMA. Then I transfer. I become an exercise physiologist. Mind you, I'm working. She told me I was young enough to right my wrongs. Right? Wrong. I'm applying for jobs. I know that I'm not getting the jobs because I have to check a box. They're not looking because I have a bachelor's degree. And regardless if people want to admit it or not, I already had 2 strikes. I'm black and I'm a female. 3rd strike, you're a convicted felon. They don't know that it was just a fight in the mall with a security cop. They don't know that. They see that it's attempted robbery. It would make it seem like, oh, I had a gun, I went in the mall, I'm ready to shoot it up. To me, it was a small fight. That's the choice I made. Those are consequences that I had to sit in. And I sat in them. And it's tough. I'm not going to tell you that it's not tough. It wasn't hard, but I'm tenacious. I'm going to keep at it. I'm going to keep working. I'm not going to tell you that I'm not blessed. God has sustained me. He kept his hand on me the entire time, regardless if I knew it or not. And at times it didn't seem that way. My faith wavered a whole lot. At times it didn't seem that way. Because I'm like, are you kidding me? There are people who are doing way worse, and they're doing this, this, and this, and then I get hit with this. I only fought the mall security. That is still what I kept thinking in my head, my mental. You broke the law, girl. I did. 2014, I hear about the Pardon Project. How did I hear about it? From my job. I work at Forbes College. I've been there for 18 years. Somebody took a chance on me back then. I'm still there now. I was like, a Pardon Project, never heard of that. I thought I was doomed. You guys, I thought I had this felony. It was a black cloud. It's been pressing on my back. Then, 2014, I hear about it. I get introduced to Miss Sal. Whew. Okay, if anybody knows her, then you know. It's not easy. This process was hard. This is the first time I've been introduced to it. 2014, and now she tells you have to go back and get all your records. You guys remember this happened in 2000 and 1999. Now I have to go back and face what I did back then that I thought I tucked away because I chose to move forward. But now I got to go back. I have to take a look at that. It's hard. It's tough when you got to stare your face right in the mirror. Hey, that was you. That was you. Take ownership of that. I did. Put on the big girl pants. Now I'm going to get all these records. Oh my gosh. Then you embarrassed all over again because now you got to go to the courthouse and get all the records. Miss Saul, I want this by this day. It better get here by this day. My first application went in 2015. You guys, Kasich denied me. I had to wait almost 4 years to be denied. Talking about a pitfall. Gut-wrenching. It's okay, though. Put on your big girl pants. It was the choices and decisions that you made. Let's roll. I'm still going at it. You guys, what I didn't know then was that that situation is what propelled me to be what I am right now. I count it all. I counted all the costs. I'm still counting them right now. I got denied. Then Miss Sal, my lucky angel, calls and says, hey, there's an expedited pardon process now. You are a great candidate. I'm like, let's go. Round 2. Trepidation, though. Pit in my stomach. The first governor denied me. Would you go through this all over again? Absolutely. It's a black cloud hanging over my shoulder. You guys, if I never told anybody I had a felony, you wouldn't look at me and think that I had one. The way that I carry myself, the way that I exhibit what I exhibit out. I encourage youth. I'm a deacon at my church. I assist the teens. I'm a high school presenter. I go out and talk to high school students about life after high school. You wouldn't know that I had a felony. That passion and what I push is because what I went through. And if I can save one of them for going this route, I will. So what did I do? Put on the bootstraps. Let's get this application again. Let's go. It's go time. I'm at it. Turn the application in 2021. Now it's the waiting game. Here we go. We got a year. Year come up. Hey, you got your interview. All right, it's showtime. Let's go. But you still have to remember that past, it comes back up. Because now you're sitting in front of the parole board and that board. Now they're asking you tough questions. You got to relive that. You got to relive some of the hurt that you've done to other people. Now I got to take accountability again. Mind you, I'm 20 years past that, you guys. I'm a whole different person, but I have to show that. And it's okay. I'm comfortable in my skin. I know what I did. I took ownership of it. God has sustained me. He promised me. Now, the gift didn't come how he said it would come. I thought that I would have the pardon the first time. I didn't get it. It didn't look that way. Second time was a charm. I got it. Sarah called me, May 23rd, 2022. Dropped to my knees and screamed, "Thank you, Jesus." So I implore anyone, if you're looking at this, take a chance on yourself. It's hard. It's hard work, but have diligence, have some tenacity. Go for it. You deserve it. You owe it to you. I definitely owed it to me. So if you ask me who I am, I'm Carla Thomas. I'm a child of God. I'm a servant. I'm a leader. I'm a mentor. But let me tell you what I'm not. I'm no longer a convicted felon.
All right, Carla, thank you. Wow, okay. Gene Hill spent 3 years in prison in the 1990s on drug-related charges out of Miami County. He admits that he made poor choices in his life, but committed then to making good choices after his release. He told us he never considered applying for a pardon, figuring he had as much a chance of getting a pardon as he did of winning the lottery. Turned out, though, he was really a great candidate. Gene was pardoned through the Expedited Pardon Project last year. Gene?
Hello, everybody. Just for the record, this is my first press conference. He does them all the time. I don't know how he does it. I'm going to start with when I was released. My first job, well, let's talk about this. Prior to getting in trouble, I owned my own business and leader in the community, all this stuff. Got mixed up with some bad people, made some really horrible decisions, and 3 years in prison. I come out. It's quite a humbling experience. My first job, worked in a factory, third shift, doing menial labor for like $7 an hour. And it was horrible. I had child support to pay, plus I had 3 years of back child support to pay. So I'm making double child support payments, trying to get by on $7 an hour. It was tough. Eventually, a friend of mine got me an interview with his company, and I was hired as a salesperson. And the owner of the company looks at me and he says, I don't care what you've done in your past. What I'm concerned about is what you do for me moving forward. So I worked for him for like 7 years, and then the financial crisis of 2008 hit. And I was in the Dayton area, I was in industrial sales. GM leaves town, Delphi leaves town, thousands of jobs leave, mine included. So I was on unemployment. 3 weeks later, I was in a serious car accident, about lost my left leg. So 6 surgeries and 6 months of rehab. I'm back in the job market. I came up with like 3 really good opportunities. I got to like second and third round of interviews with all these companies. And then they would say, we really like you, you're very qualified, but we can't hire you. So after you get the door slammed in your face a few times, it sucks. So then I thought, well, if I can't work for somebody else, maybe I can work for myself again. So I started looking around for an opportunity, and I ran across, if you've all heard of Liberty Tax, there was a franchise opportunity. I went to, my fiance at the time and I went to Virginia Beach, liked what we heard, and I have a bachelor's degree, and in my degree I took 5 or 6 different tax classes, kind of enjoyed that stuff. And I thought, this is perfect. So we go to Virginia Beach, like what we hear, come back home. We go to her family, borrow the money for a franchise. Well, that first year, we were in the top 10% of new franchises in the country. I'm thinking, this is going to work out. So in the next 4 years, next 5 years, we opened 2 other franchises. We had a 4th on the way. Well, lo and behold, beginning of our 5th season, the IRS changes some rules. So my name is on the bank account. My name is on the ownership. An EFIN that's an e-file identification number. Every tax office in the United States has to have one. And mine was in my daughter's name. Well, now they said all 3 of those things I just mentioned have to be the same. So I applied for the EFIN. And I was turned down. And there was an appeal process. Went through the appeal process. I never got a hearing. I wanted that audience so I could plead my case. It never happened. In fact, they told my wife that I wasn't even allowed to work in the offices anymore. I was not allowed to step foot in the offices anymore. And that's the black cloud biting you again. So at that point, I found another job, another sales job with a company, and in my opinion, way below my education and experience. But it was a job. And I worked for them for like 7 years. Then COVID hit. And we were an industrial contractor, and most of the industries around were circling the wagons, not spending any money on capital projects, and that was our bread and butter. And my boss closed a business. So there I am again, no job. Fortunately, 2 good things happened. One, a family I'd known for 50 years called me, and they own a food distribution company in my hometown. And the gentleman who had run that company passed away from cancer, and his stepson stepped in to run the company, but had absolutely no business background. So he called me, and he says, I'm looking for an operations manager. Would you be interested? So I go in, we talk about it, and he asked me what I need to come to work for him. I said, well, what are you offering? And he told me, and it was like twice what I've been making since I've been released. I said, well, I'm going to have to think about it. About 30 seconds later, I said, okay. So I'm currently there, but something else happened at that same time. A friend of mine who was running for county commissioner, and he was a Republican, and he says, once I get elected, because everybody gets, Miami County is a Republican county, he says, I'm going to do everything I can to help you. He says, you need to apply for a governor's pardon. You know, and I'm going, yeah, right. Like he said, you know, might as well win the lottery. So I started doing a little research, and I ran across this program. And I called Wade up. I said, Wade, you can believe this. I read the description of the program to him, you know. I said, this is me. He says, you're the poster child for that. So got my application together, sent it in. A few weeks later, I get a phone call. You've been accepted into the program. Phew, awesome. So then, as Carla said, there's a lot of work that we have to do, and the law students who help you through this, they're working their tails off at the same time. So it's a team effort. And Philip, who was my law student, he was great. And he was just as excited about this process as I was. Awesome. So then we get through all the steps, and they send that to the parole board. And I had to see the parole board to get out of prison. And I don't know if most of you haven't had that experience, but you go into this room, and there's a panel of people there, and they tear you apart. You are crap. You're worthless. You feel like Al Capone when you walk out. So you got to go out and sit in the hallway, and there's this little light up here. And you sit there and wait for the light to come on. When the light comes on, you go back in. Well, they drill you some more, and then they tell you your release date. So I got out after 90 days later, but have to talk to the parole board again, and it, like she said, it just drums everything back up. Every time you get a door slammed in your face, it makes everything fresh, like it just happened yesterday. And I went through that numerous times. And finally, so we have the hearing, and Professor Saul says afterwards, "You did good, you did good." I didn't feel like I did good. And a few weeks later, get another phone call. And the parole board has voted in favor of your pardon. Whew. And she tells me, she says, "It's not a done deal yet. Don't celebrate yet, because this gentleman right here has to review your case." But she says, "It's favorable." So a few weeks later, I get a phone call and got my pardon. And one other thing. In my job right now, I'm operations manager for this company, and HR is one of my duties. And I've had the pleasure of hiring 4 people with similar backgrounds. One other thing, and I'm gonna get out of the way here, but so this is what a pardon looks like for you. Well, I want to read the last line to you. "Therefore, by virtue of the authority vested in the governor by the Constitution and laws of this state, I do have my glasses on. I do hereby direct that the said offenses of Richard Hill be pardoned."
Congratulations.
Thank you, sir.
Appreciate it. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. We'll hear from some of our higher education partners. We could not have done this without our partners. I have the privilege of granting pardons, but the university staff, the law students, they do the hard work in determining if an individual even qualifies for the program to enter into the program. And they work, as you've heard, with the applicant through the process and help them do what has to be done. They then help getting that information over to the parole board, which hears each request and makes either a favorable or unfavorable recommendation to me. Ohio State and Akron have worked with us since the program's launch in 2019, and in the time since, other schools have joined: Cleveland State, University of Dayton, and the Ohio Justice and Policy Center in partnership with the University of Cincinnati. Now let me introduce to you Doug Berman, Executive Director of the Drug Enforcement Policy Center here at Ohio State. He will be followed by Joanne Saul, Assistant Director of the Legal Clinic at the University of Akron. Doug, thank you very much.
Thank you all for being here, and thanks so much to our pardon recipients for discussing and giving you just a little flavor for the amazing number of stories that are behind each of these applicants' lives and application to get a pardon, how much work is behind their efforts to secure that pardon, and the same kinds of stories and work can and should be acknowledged for everybody that's been working to put the program together. And I just want to really use this moment not only to let you all know that the amount of work that's been contributed by so many of the partners has been something that I've been really awed to see, and incredibly grateful for the energy that's been put in by so many. And I just want to use a couple moments to say thanks, and I'll end by thanking Joanne, especially because it's her work that has really been at the core of allowing us to move forward with this incredibly successful program. I want to start first, of course, by thanking Governor DeWine. His vision, his steadfast commitment to this program has been at the absolute core of making this possible. Without that, it couldn't have happened. And then thank all of his staff, too many to mention, but I'll especially highlight Sarah because I know she's the one who looks at every single file that goes through this program. Just an extraordinary amount of work to make operational that vision and that commitment to a program of this nature. Speaking of steadfast commitment, the staff here at Ohio State, I especially want to focus on those who do all the work with the Drug Enforcement and Policy Center. They have been at the core of developing both the vision and the specifics of how we can get files to the governor's staff and to ultimately his desk. Also, other folks here at the Ohio State University Moritz College of Law, their support and commitment to supporting the Drug Enforcement and Policy Center and the work that we're doing has been absolutely central to our ability to do that. I mentioned already Professor Joanne Saul, but her ability to both take the idea and turn it into something that brings us all here today was so absolutely central to making it possible and making us as excited to do all that work. She was also very clear. It's a lot of work, and I can't overstate the extent to which, and those of you who interact and actually do the work know, it can't be summarized, and it certainly shouldn't be shortchanged, because it is just an incredible amount of sweat equity for all of this. But ultimately, and I'm so glad so many are here, I especially want to thank the applicants. That's who really make this program possible. And you heard from the two who spoke already the extraordinary amount of courage that is required to come forward and be judged by the governor of a state, right? This is not, I'm going to be judged in court, or I'm going to have this little proceeding, or whatever it is. And of course, that's harrowing enough, challenging enough. But to say and have the ability to have comfort and fortitude, I know I'm a better person now. And I know if I can get my case to the governor, he will understand and use that power that he has to let the world know that I am now a better person. That is so hard, requires so much, and I'm just incredibly grateful that we can play a little role in helping to develop that story, because again, it's hard to tell that story in the way in which an applicant needs it told, the way in which a governor needs to hear it. And so for that, I'm incredibly grateful, and I can't help but finish before I let Joanne have the podium. It dawned on me, we have this famous quote, "To err is human, to forgive divine." Well, I'll add to that, and to pardon DeWine. And so, thank you.
So I just want to say how excited I am to be here today and to celebrate 108 pardons. When the project began in December of 2019, you hope, right? You hope that there will be people who will come and will understand the importance of getting a pardon. And that's been the case as we've celebrated 108 pardons today. I want to say to you, I think that Ms. Thomas and Mr. Hill really talked about the importance of a pardon for all of our pardon applicants. The pardon does lift the disabilities, the ability to get jobs, to volunteer at your children's schools, to get a professional license. But I'm going to tell you what I perceive to be the most meaningful for our clients, which is the stigma, the shame of criminal convictions. Both are very real to all of our clients, and it never goes away. It doesn't matter if your conviction is 10 years old or your conviction is 15 years old. A pardon provides the forgiveness that is so important for all of our clients. And Governor DeWine, I want to say to you, thank you for finding an expedited process that allows that path to forgiveness to be so much quicker than it's been in the past. As someone who did traditional pardons before the expedited pardon program began, it would take my clients, as Ms. Thomas mentioned, 3 years, 4 years, and sometimes more to be able to get a pardon from the governor or get a decision. Those are lost opportunities for all of my clients who are waiting for pardon so they can take the job opportunity or they can volunteer. 3 and 4 years really isn't going to help with that decision. So again, Governor DeWine, I cannot tell you how excited I am that we now have an expedited pardon process for all of our clients. And for my clients in the room today, please give Governor DeWine a round of applause. So our big celebration today is 108 pardons, which is absolutely amazing. But I want to talk about another success story that really has been driven by the Expedited Pardon Project, and that's some legislative changes to benefit our clients who've received a pardon. Prior to September 2021, our clients would receive pardons, but their criminal record wouldn't be sealed with the pardon. And so the legislature in September 2021 decided that that sealing really needs to accompany the pardon. And so from September 2021 till now, anyone who receives an unconditional pardon from the governor automatically has their record sealed. And I can't tell you... And so I'll be honest, I continue to pester Sarah and the governor's office about our folks who received pardons before September 2021 because I wanted them to have that sealing. And I'm here to tell you in April of this year, the legislature has done that. So for any of the folks out there who have received a pardon and your record has not been sealed, please reach out to the University of Akron School of Law, and we're going to help you do that. I want to say how fortunate I am to be at the University of Akron School of Law, where everyone in the building, my deans here, a number of my colleagues have been so supportive and excited about this program. But there's a particular group of people that I want to say thank you to, and I know the clients want me to thank as well. The law students at the University of Akron have been instrumental. Go ahead and give them a round of applause. Have been instrumental in the number of pardons we have. I could not possibly do all the work by myself. We've had over 80 law students at the University of Akron screen applications, do background searches, and assist pardon applicants with their pardon application. And I know that's going on also at our other partners. So to all the law students, thank you so much for agreeing that this was a terrific opportunity for you to do in law school. And I want to end by thanking the most important group in this, in the Expedited Pardon Project. And Doug already talked about this, which is all of our pardon recipients and our clients. It was so exciting to see so many of you here today. It is hard. It is hard to go through the pardon process. Ms. Thomas talked about that, to relive all of those convictions, to face what you have done, to talk about it with the parole board, who are wonderful at the parole hearing, but still, or at the pardon hearing, but still, it is very difficult. And I want to say to all of you, thank you for having the courage to do that. Your stories have inspired me, they have humbled me, and I appreciate the courage it took for you to go through this process. I want to say, Doug had a nice quote at the end. This is my feeling about the Expedited Pardon Project and what it represents, which is this: we are all more than our worst day. And every one of us deserves a second chance. And so I hope everyone out there listening today to the press conference who will read articles about it, please, please apply so we can help you. Thank you so much.
That's great work.
Thank you, Governor. Thank you, Governor.
Good work. Well, a lot of people doing a lot of great work, and we're very, very, very grateful. Let me also thank Parole Board Chair Lisa Hoying for her support. We appreciate that, and the Parole Board very, very much. I do want to mention, again, Sarah and Matt, because once we got this going, then they came to me and said, well, we don't have a sealing of the records. These are not occurring automatically, and which was a little surprise to me at that point. And then we started talking with members of the legislature, and they were able to take action on that. So it's very, very important. We also have a lot of community partners who've really made a difference. Community Assisted Restoration Services, Windbush Enterprises, the City Park League Resource Group, and other local groups. And let's give them a hand. Let me make sure that everyone has the project website. Again, it's ohioexpeditedpardon.org, ohioexpeditedpardon.org. You can find more information on this site about the minimum program requirements and the process to apply. So again, well, my phone is ringing. Bad timing here. That's what happens when you don't turn your phone off. It's a candidate for the U.S. Senate, strangely enough. There you go. One, I will not describe which one it is. Look, thank you, everybody. Let me just maybe give all of you one challenge, and that includes those who have received a pardon, but frankly, everybody else. If you know someone, and we all do, who has a felony conviction and who might qualify for this, please tell them about this program. As you know, there's strict requirements to get in. Not everybody can get in, but there's a ton of people out there, a lot of people who would, in fact, qualify if they only knew about the program. So as we celebrate today, let's use this as the opportunity to go out and spread the word. We want Ohioans who have earned this, who have earned the right to be considered for a pardon, to know about it and to be able to, in fact, apply. Again, thanks for everybody who's made this whole program possible. We're very, very grateful. We have more to do. Thank you. Thanks, everybody.